I was watching Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com the other day, and I made it to the end of the video, and I noticed this interesting soundbite that I thought we should discuss because it hits on something, at least I think it hits on something that I've been talking an awful lot about. But before we get started, like this video, hit the subscribe button, and consider joining the channel. Channel members get exclusive access to Filmmaker Alchemy, behind-the-scenes lessons and insights on the business of video production. Learn how to turn your content into gold.
Tiltable EVF.
He's talking about the FX2, the Sony FX2. That's what this section of the video is about. I'll leave a link in the description. You can go check out the whole video, but we're just going to talk about this one section because I thought it was kind of interesting. He makes a joke, but I don't think it's not that funny.
Now, what the camera probably won't have is an actual EVF.
We're wrong.
I was wrong when reporting on that rumor. I never thought that they would add an EVF, let alone one that is tiltable.
We're a little bit early in the video compared to where I want to get, but we're just going to let it play. He's talking about the Sony FX2 and just how it held up to the rumors and speculation. The EVF kind of caught a lot of people off guard, I guess, because the FX3 infamously or famously doesn't have an EVF at all. So the FX2 having one is kind of a shocker. But anyways, let's go on.
The good news is it sticks out from the back of the camera, giving you plenty of clearance. And especially being a lefty, I like that my nose doesn't have to touch the back of the screen. Now, the bad news is
funny thing, I made a video years and years ago. This isn't the point I wanted to make, but just reminded me of it. Which eye do you shoot with? I made a video forever ago, and it still gets views randomly. Someone will comment, I shoot with my left eye, I shoot with my right eye. Right-handed or left-handed, but also right eye or left eye. I'm always curious what people shoot with because I think you do have a dominant eye, and I forget the test you can do, but there's a way you can figure out which eye is your dominant eye, and that can be, I think, recommended to be the one you shoot with if you're using an EVF. Doesn't make a difference if you're using a screen or an LCD like a lot of people are shooting nowadays, but looking through an EVF, you got to pick one eye. As far as I know, there's no binocular EVFs, so something to be curious. Which eye do you shoot with? It could matter.
if you put something in the hot shoe, you're gonna lose the tiltability. But hey, maybe this will find its way into future FX designs, but with a higher quality display. Now, speaking of quality,
I am curious how many people want the EVF. Seems to be that a lot of people don't want it, but then anytime it's not there, like on the Lumix S9, people complain, oh, I want a viewfinder, I want an EVF. But then the moment it's there, people say, oh, I wish it would have been cheaper and had it not have the EVF. So I don't know. Everyone thinks the opposite of whatever comes out.
Quality displays, the FX2 doesn't have one. Sony still chooses to use a crappy, and I mean crappy, 1.03 million dot LCD panel. Now, it does flip out and rotate and all of that BS, but that's probably because they expect you to use an external display instead connected to the camera.
Lots of hate for the Sony FX2. I don't really know if I feel strongly about it one way or another. If you want to be brought up to speed and you haven't caught the news about the FX2, it's basically old tech from the A7 IV, the A7C II, all the crazy Sony variants. There's too many to keep track of, but there's a couple Sony cameras that are quite popular, at least were quite popular. This is basically the sensor. The tech has been rehoused with minor upgrades in the FX2. So a lot of people are kind of underwhelmed with the FX2. So that's the context for this. Jared seems to think similarly, at least by his tone, if I'm reading into it. But a lot of people sharing similar thoughts online these days.
The body,
but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about something else. Hold on, we're about to get to it.
It has a deep grip, quarter 20s all the way around, a built-in fan to stave off overheating, shoots at 4K 60 but in Super 35, and it does 120 in 1080, but offers some nice cinematic features like shutter angle, cinema camera menus, and more.
So, you know, a lot of people will tear the specs apart. It's basically like an APS-C camera because so many, you're dealing with a crop in 4K 60 and the rolling shutter, and it's like an A7 IV who wants this FX2. Anyway, that's the internet consensus on the FX2 right now, but here's where things get a little interesting.
Now, I didn't get a hands-on with this thing just yet, so I can't go into every quirk and feature, but I will try to do that if they do send me one to test out. Now, in terms of price, the FX2 is $2,700, which is a $500 premium over the A7C II, which pretty much does the same thing for less. Now, I'm honestly not sure who this camera is for, as it's using a bunch of yesterday's tech in a world where competition has been heating up for this particular type of market in that price point. I'm looking at you, Nikon Z6 III, and I'm looking at you, Panasonic, whatever camera you just came out with that I can't remember is a whatever it is. It's a competitor here. Now what's
So Jared has this throwaway comment about Panasonic and Lumix and being kind of irrelevant because he can't even remember it. But let's go play that again. And here's where it's interesting, because this is what I'm always talking about.
A bunch of yesterday's tech in a world where competition has been heating up for this particular type of market in that price point. I'm looking at you, Nikon.
Okay, Nikon Z6 Mark III, clearly listed there.
Z6 III, and
solid camera, great attractive price point. Nikon has been killing it lately with the features to the price, that value ratio, solid with Nikon. Let's see here.
I'm looking at you,
Panasonic. So he calls out Panasonic. Nowhere on this screen does it say Panasonic. It says Lumix Pro Series full frame cameras, create without boundaries. It doesn't say Panasonic, but he calls it Panasonic.
Sonic, whatever camera you just came out with.
Double the proof. Lumix S1 2E full frame mirrorless digital camera, DC1, blah, 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 blah. Nowhere does it say Panasonic. Right at the, on the EVF, oddly enough, speaking about EVFs, it says Lumix on the banner right across. Nowhere does it say Panasonic, but he calls it a Panasonic.
With that I can't remember is...
And people will harp on me, what does it matter? It's just like everyone else. No, it is not like everybody else. If you buy a Sony, it says Sony on it. If you buy a Nikon, it says Nikon on it. If you buy a Canon, it says Canon on it. Oh, it's just like Canon EOS, or it's like Sony Alpha, or it's like... No, it's not. It says Lumix right there on the camera, and everyone still calls it Panasonic. If I worked at Panasonic, here's what I would do. Hands down, I would force through some kind of mandate, all of my documentation that I send to these YouTubers and influencers, not Jared in this case, because he's not specifically talking about this camera, but it just proves my point. I would say we are hammering home Lumix, Lumix, Lumix. The camera says Lumix when someone's shopping at a Walmart, a Best Buy, or online, and they see a camera that says Lumix and the product listing on our product page, it says Lumix, call it a Lumix. That's what I would tell everyone to do. Drop the Panasonic. I don't know why they think that's so important, and people even to this day call it Panasonic, even though the cameras don't say Panasonic. You think it has some brand affinity, some loyalty to Panasonic, then put Panasonic on the camera. Make it say Panasonic up top. If it's that valuable of a brand, if it's that valuable of a word, put it on the freaking camera. But no, they've doubled, tripled, quadrupled for decades. Double down on this Lumix brand, then call it a Lumix. Leave Panasonic out of it. It's so confusing. Because your regular person, again, I'm not talking to you. You are watching a video on YouTube about this subject. You know who Jared Pullen is. You know froknowsphoto.com. You know all this stuff. You know Panasonic makes Lumix. Your regular person, the average Joe on the street, has no idea that Panasonic and Lumix are the same thing. So when you have that brand confusion, when you're constantly talking about the Panasonic GH5 or the Panasonic S1 II or the Panasonic whatever, first of all, the models themselves are alphabet and numerical soup. S12E, who, only I know that. Only you know that. No regular person should be expected to remember S12E. That's ridiculous. S52X. You know it, I know it, but no one else does. It's super confusing. We need simplicity. And at the end of the day, most average people, you can go talk to them, you can ask them, they don't even know 5D Mark II. They don't know R5. They don't know Z6 Mark III. All they know is the brand they see on the camera, the big, bold letters. They'll see Lumix, they'll see Canon, they'll see Sony, they'll see Nikon. So when we talk about these things, it's super important to hammer that home, what the brand actually is, because that's what people are going to be looking for. It's happened 100 times in my life, more than 100. What are you shooting with? If I tell them an S52X, they're going to scratch their head and go, what the heck is that? What did you just say to me? Is that another language? S52X. What does that even mean? But if I say, oh, it's a Sony. Oh, it's a Lumix. Oh, it's a Canon. Oh, it's a Nikon. If I say Lumix, chances are they haven't heard of it. But they have heard Canon, Sony, Nikon. And that's the problem. The brand Lumix doesn't have the clout because it keeps getting siphoned off to Panasonic. Panasonic keeps getting all the street cred. Meanwhile, all the cameras say Lumix. It's mind-numbing. People try and create analogies to cars and manufacturers and different brands, but I struggle to find any brand that is this confusing. I honestly couldn't tell you. Maybe like Dodge and Ram, maybe, I don't know. There's very few brands that do this anywhere in the marketplace, where the company that gets talked about, that the way people refer to the product as coming from one brand, and yet the product itself has a completely different brand name on it. Yes, technically on all of these Lumix cameras, there's a thin little spot where it says Panasonic, probably underneath and on top of the viewfinder, but it is the thinnest, smallest text. No one will ever see this. I don't even know why it's there. It's like a hidden tattoo below your pants. No one knows it's there. They're never going to see it. They're never going to find it. What are you advertising? Lumix. Okay, then call it Lumix and stop calling it Panasonic. Or alternatively, you could just call the cameras Panasonic and make them all Panasonic, and then the problem is solved. There's nothing to complain about. There's nothing to talk about because people say Panasonic and it says Panasonic. That makes sense. If it says Lumix on the camera, people should be calling it Lumix. But Jared doesn't know that. He's not going to, he's talking about Panasonic in his own script and showing screenshots that say Lumix. This only makes sense to me and you and a handful of other people who care about this type of stuff. No regular person should be expected to know this because it's already confusing enough. What's the difference between an R5, an R5 II, an R6, an R6 Mark II, an R7, an R8, an R3? I don't know. What is the difference? How do I tell the difference between a Z8, a Z9, a Z6 Mark III, and a Z5 Mark II? Which one's the best? I don't know. Is an S1 Mark II better or worse than an S1 IIe? Oh, well, the S1 II is better than the S1 IIe. Okay, well then how about the S5 II and the S5 IIX? Oh, well, the X is better in that case. X is good, E is bad. X is expensive, E is cheap? I don't know. They keep, like I said, it's alphabet soup. It's numerical soup. No one knows, no one cares. All they want to know is what is the freaking brand? What's the logo? Is it Nike? Is it Reebok? Is it Adidas? Is it Apple or Windows? Is it Coke or is it Pepsi? It takes a long time to build up any kind of brand identity, loyalty, and just the market awareness of what you are. But when everyone online calls it Panasonic, and yet in the wild they're Lumix, it never has any chance to gain traction because it's constantly fighting with itself.
Whatever it is, it's a competitor here. Now, what say you? Let me know down below. And there you have it. That's your photo news fix.
That was it. It just stood out to me. Yes, I did watch this whole video, and yes, I caught that random joke that Jared threw in there, and it really got my blood boiling a little bit because it's just another drop in the bucket. Another little grain of rice on the mountain piles, bags of rice that we've accumulated over the years. You look back in the day, I think they've gotten better about this, I will say. It used to be that the YouTube reviews would come out and they would say things like Panasonic GH6. What the heck is a Panasonic GH6? I know a Lumix GH6. I know that. And then you'll see some that say Panasonic Lumix GH6. Well, now why do I have to have two brands in there? People don't even talk, like they say it's the same as Sony Alpha, but it's not. Sony Alpha, so the A is for Alpha, right? So if you say an A7S, the Alpha is already in there. It's part of it. So the S1H it's not an LS1H. Gosh, please don't take it that far. Don't put an L in there as if that's cool or special for Lumix. The Alpha got consolidated. Canon with the EOS or whatever, EOS, whatever it is, that also is random and arbitrary at this point in time. I think it used to mean something back in the day, the difference between digital and film, and now it's just EOS. Okay, but no one says like the EOS. Some YouTubers do, and I think it's unnecessary. We know what you're talking about. It's an R5. It's a Canon R5. We don't need EOS. Doesn't mean anything. It's on every one of the products. It's useless. Throw it away. We don't need it. Panasonic, Lumix. I would love for there's no solution though. They've spent 20 years calling it Lumix and Panasonic simultaneously. And still to this day, people don't know what you're talking about. So it clearly hasn't worked. It's not like, oh, wow, they're number one all-time sales, Panasonic Lumix. Who knew? They had the brilliant marketing plan over there of like double brand names that don't sound alike, they're not simpatico, they don't go together. Panasonic and Lumix. Pick one, emphasize it, and go all in. I think they should do this with Lumix. Make it a brand on par with Sony, Canon, and Nikon. What do I care? It's not my company. But this is free advice, okay? I'm not just complaining to complain. I'm trying to tell them how to be successful. This is the secret. If you watch this video long enough, now you know it too. Double, triple, quadruple down on Lumix. The cameras all say Lumix, great. Buy Lumix.com. Oh, wait, they won't. If you go to Lumix.com, let's go over to Lumix.com. I'll show you what it is. Lumix.com. It's still, to this day, loading. It's the Xenon flash tube for studio flash gear. What? Foxine. Foxine? I don't know what this is. This is Lumix.com. Has nothing to do with cameras, has nothing to do with Panasonic. It just sits here for Xenon flash tubes for studio flash gear is where Lumix.com will take you to this website. You know where you buy Lumix cameras from Panasonic? Over on Panasonic's website. Why don't they say Panasonic on them? Well, they say Lumix. That's not confusing at all. No, you go to Lumix.com, doesn't exist. Double down on Lumix. Have people call it Lumix. Mandate that they call it a Lumix. Forget Panasonic. Who cares? People think Panasonic makes microwaves and televisions. I don't even know if they do that anymore. Panasonic makes the shaver in my bathroom at home. I shave with a Panasonic. Okay, I don't care if it's a Panasonic camera. It says Lumix on it. Let's call it a Lumix. Then we don't have the problem of Jared making Panasonic jokes while he's showing Lumix product listings. It's as simple as that. And I'll keep talking about it until something changes, because this has been the trajectory since the GH1. When I first got into it, I didn't know what Lumix was. I had no idea. I was like, Panasonic. It's Panasonic, GH1, Panasonic. Great. Everyone knows Panasonic. They have the VariCam. They have broadcast cameras. It's a Panasonic. But yet, oh, wait, this is like, it's like a Coolpix. It's like a Canon PowerShot. And that brand became the icon. Imagine how crazy that is. So back in those days, and still to this day, I think you can still buy Canon PowerShots and Nikon Coolpix. It's like a consumer, I don't know why they call it that. It's just like a designation of the brand, right? Canon had the Rebel. I don't think they make Rebels anymore. They're these kind of like fun little words. Ooh, Nikon Coolpix. Okay, cool. It's like your point and shoot. Oh, it's a Canon PowerShot. Ooh, yeah, let's get your power in your shots there. Panasonic had Lumix. But like it grew and grew and grew, and it absorbed. It like became the brand. It'd be like if it was like the Coolpix Z6 Mark III. It'd be like if it was the PowerShot R5. What? The PowerShot R5. What is that camera? Never heard of a PowerShot R5. Oh, it's the Canon. Oh, it's a Canon? Oh, why doesn't it say Canon on there? Well, it says PowerShot. You're supposed to know that Canon and PowerShot are the same and that the R5 is a PowerShot, but it's also a Canon. It just says Coolpix on there. The Coolpix Z8, is that a good camera? Well, it's a Nikon. Oh, well, it doesn't say Nikon on there. I thought it was Coolpix. That sounds like some Amazon company. No. Nikon and Coolpix are the same thing. The Z8 is actually the flagship, and you need to know that Nikon and Coolpix are the same. But we're not going to say that it's a Nikon. We're going to call it a Coolpix. That sounds like something you buy on Alibaba. If it's a Nikon, put Nikon on there. All right. You've said it's a Lumix. People know it. Okay, great. Let's get it a website. Let's give it a brand identity. Let's talk about Lumix as if it's meaningful. Not like these other random throwaway things like Rebels and PowerShots and Coolpix. They're unnecessary. We don't need them. So ditch them. If Coolpix became the main brand, okay, well then it doesn't matter if it has anything to do with Nikon or not. If PowerShot became the main brand, who cares that it came from Canon? It's a PowerShot. Oh, wow. PowerShot, those are good. I've heard of those. Hopefully you understand my point. You see the problem. Putting a giant text logo on your camera and expecting everyone to know that that's a Panasonic when the letters say Lumix, it drives me mad.